Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Blu-ray update, this time for the month of February. So as I said in my prior update, I'm going to be adding new release titles to the regulars in these updates. So I've got another 6 titles to show you from this month, 4 new releases and 2 older films. So we'll start with the older films. So the first one I have is the 2012 claymation animation stop motion film, ParaNorman from Lakeyear, the company that did Coraline, which is one of my favourite movies. They also did the Box Trolls recently, and they've got another new movie coming out this year. So yeah, really good film. I watched it again on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. It's a really fun kind of supernatural thriller comedy film. Probably not for young kids. It might be a bit scary, but yeah, if you're a fan of Coraline or Nightmare Before Christmas, those kind of movies, you'll definitely like this. Has some great effects with the stop motion. It just looks fantastic, and on Blu-ray especially. This is just the regular Australian Blu-ray, so that's the front cover, the side, and the back. And on the inside you get disc art of the zombies, so that looks pretty cool. And yeah, definitely a good movie, one of the better stop motion movies of the past, I don't know, decade. It's really good. And the other film I got that's an older film is actually from 1991, and it's probably one of the most famous thriller films over the past couple of decades, and it's The Silence of the Lambs by Jonathan Demme. Starring, what's her name, Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins and Scott Glenn. Even though Anthony Hopkins, I didn't realise this the first time I watched it, but he's not actually in the film a lot. His performance is fantastic though as Hannibal Lecter, and yeah, Jodie Foster's really good in this film too. All the actors are. It's not really a like heaps bloodthirsty kind of horror jump scare kind of film. It's just relying on the story and the characters to bring the scares and the suspense and everything, and it does it really well. I watched it again a couple of days ago on the weekend, and I hadn't actually seen it for years, so I'd forgotten a lot about it. And yeah, really enjoyed it again. Looks great on Blu-ray. This is the edition from JB Hi-Fi with the different cover. There's 2 editions, I think. And so yeah, that's the front there, and the back with some of the characters and special features. And on the inside, it's got the artwork more similar to the other Blu-ray release. So that's Silence of the Lambs. Definitely a great thriller film. If you're a fan of good thrillers and you haven't seen this yet, it's definitely one to check out because it will probably be at the top of most people's list for top thriller films. It's definitely really good. So these next 4 films are all new releases that I got over the past month. Some of my favourite films from last year that I've been able to get. And the first one is the Robert Zemeckis film The Walk. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a really underrated film from last year. Great performances, great visual effects, great storytelling and soundtrack. I definitely think it missed out at the Oscars. I don't even think people would consider this an Academy Award film, but I really liked it, and I think it, could have been nominated for a few things at least. But yeah, really good movie, really underrated. Definitely check it out if you get the chance. It's from Robert Zemeckis, who did Forrest Gump and the Back to the Future trilogy. So he's really one of the better directors in my opinion. And this is just like a really fast-paced, really feel-good kind of fun movie with a lot of tension towards the end. If you know the story, it's about the guy who in the 1970s walked a high wire between the Twin Towers, and so yeah, at the end when it's kind of building up towards the walk, it's just really kind of, a lot of tension and suspense and everything, and if you've got a fear of heights then you're probably going to freak out a bit towards the end of the film. But yeah, really good film, looks great on Blu-ray. Watched it again a couple of nights ago. And yeah, really enjoyed this movie. So that's the front cover and the back. And on the inside, it's just one of your pretty plain ones with the blue disc. So just one disc and digital copy. So that's the inside. Really an unbelievable story actually. So I definitely recommend checking it out just for the fact that it is a true story. So next up, I got a film from the UK. I wasn't really that keen on the artwork on the Australian edition. So I decided to order the UK version of the Tom Hardy film Legend from last year. Tom Hardy's one of my favourite actors, and last year was fantastic. He did Mad Max Fury Road, Legend, The Revenant, Child 44, so he had a really good year for films. This movie, it kind of splits a lot of people. People either really like it or they hate it. I think people were expecting it to be a full-on gangster film with the gangster life story, but it was more so about Reggie Cray and his relationship with his wife and how it affected them and his life as a gangster. And so Tom Hardy plays both the Cray twins, Ron and Reggie Cray, and as you can see, it's one of those lenticular covers, so you can turn it, and it's got both characters there, so that looks really cool. That's one of the reasons I really like this artwork. And so that's the front cover there, and then the back, you get them again at the top, some special features, all the stuff like that. And then on the inside of the case you get separate artwork on the Blu-ray cover, so that looks really cool. I'm glad that they did like a separate artwork on both covers. Both characters there again, the side, and you get the same artwork on the back. And on the inside, when you open it up, it's just a single disc Blu-ray with similar artwork, or pretty much the same artwork as the front cover. No inlay art, but that's cool. I like the disc art anyway. So I'm really happy with this release, all the artwork that you get over the covers, both covers, with the slip cover and the lenticular sticker on that. So yeah, I'm really happy with this release. Definitely a really good movie. I watched it again about a week ago. Great picture quality and audio quality, a lot of special features and interesting stuff. And just check it out for the performances that Tom Hardy gives as Ron and Reggie Kray, because it's really difficult, I think, to portray two characters who look very similar and make them seem different from each other, and he really does that well. So the next two films I actually bought yesterday together. They just came out on the same day at JB Hi-Fi. And the first one is Crimson Peak with Mia Wasikowska, Jessica Chastain and Tom Hiddleston, directed by Guillermo del Toro. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but he directed Pan's Labyrinth, which I've seen and also really enjoyed. But yeah, I just love the look of this film and the style. If you know me, I'm a huge Tim Burton fan, and this just has that kind of haunted house, Tim Burton-y, creepy, eerie kind of feel to it. It looks fantastic. It's one of the better films I've ever seen visually. Just the look of the sets, the costumes, visual effects, everything looks fantastic in this movie. It's one of the best looking films you'll ever see. So can't wait to check it out on Blu-ray, because I just got it yesterday, so I haven't been able to watch it yet. But yeah, really enjoyed this movie. The performances were all good. It was a interesting story. It's not like a full-on horror film. I think a lot of people were expecting that and were disappointed. The first half of the film, it's not really a horror film at all. It's kind of just towards the end, but I still really enjoyed this movie and can't wait to check it out again. So it's just your standard Blu-ray and digital copy. That's the front cover, the side and the back there with some screenshots, special features and things like that. And on the inside it's like pretty much like The Walk, where you get just the plain disc and the digital copy on the inside. So that's Crimson Peak on Blu-ray. So the final film I have to show you guys is a film I only just watched a couple of days ago for the first time. I've been hanging out to see it for a long time because it's an Australian movie. It stars my favourite actress. I didn't get around to seeing it in cinemas, so I was really kind of hanging out to see it. And I finally saw it and really enjoyed it, so I bought it because it was coming out the following day on Blu-ray, which was lucky, so I got it the same day as Crimson Peak. And that is the new Australian film The Dressmaker with Kate Winslet. So yeah, this is a really good movie. If you've seen it, you'll know how kind of strange and bizarre it is. It's not just your average kind of drama comedy. It's got that really Australian dark undertone of dark humour and just weird bizarreness that usually goes on in a lot of Australian films. Stars Kate Winslet, who's my favourite actress. It's also got Judy Davis, Liam Hemsworth, Hugo Weaving, and a lot of other great Australian actors. So that's one of the reasons I was looking forward to seeing this movie, because if you've seen the trailers, it looks really unique. It's set in kind of a little hillbilly town out in the middle of nowhere in the outback in the 1950s, so it has a really cool look to the film. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this movie, pretty much every aspect about it. So this is the Australian Blu-ray with the front cover like that, the side and the back, and a few special features on it. And on the inside you do get disc artwork, which is pretty much the same as the front cover. No inlay artwork, but that's cool, you get nice disc art. So yeah, really enjoyed this movie. It's probably going to be a really underrated film because it's an Australian movie, so I don't know if a lot of people in the US or UK will get around to seeing it, but if you do, I highly recommend it. It's one of Kate Winslet's better films in my opinion. Just a really cool Australian movie. It's got a great soundtrack as well. The scenery is amazing. I love Australian films for their scenery as well. So definitely if you get a chance, check this film out. It's not a chick flick or anything. It's just a really interesting, strange, bizarre, cool Australian film. So thanks guys for watching my Blu-ray update for the month of February with these 6 titles. Definitely check out the ones that interest you, and get back to me down below in the comments if you've seen any of them. Let me know what you thought of them, and yeah, please subscribe and check out some of my future videos. I'll see you later. Bye.